In the heart of the ancient world, nestled between two great rivers, a story began. This is the story of Sumer, the cradle of civilization, a place where humanity first leaped from scattered tribes into bustling cities. Welcome to Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, a fertile crescent that gave birth to the world's first great society. Picture this, around 6,000 years ago, where today there is arid land, a vibrant landscape. Here, the Sumerians emerged, not as a vast, unified kingdom at first, but as a collection of brilliant, independent cities with names that echo through history. Uruk, Eridu. These weren't just settlements. They were the world's first urban centers, complete with massive walls, complex societies, and thousands of people living and working together in ways never seen before. In Uruk, a city that may have been home to over 50,000 souls, the very idea of what it meant to be human was being redefined. What fueled this incredible explosion of culture? Innovation. The Sumerians were relentless inventors, driven by necessity and an incredible intellect. Faced with unpredictable rivers, they engineered sophisticated irrigation systems with canals and dikes that turned the dry plains into abundant farmland. This agricultural surplus allowed society to specialize. Not everyone had to be a farmer anymore. Now there could be artisans, traders, and thinkers. And think they did. Perhaps their most profound invention was writing. Imagine the sheer genius of it, capturing spoken language in physical form. On humble clay tablets, using a reed stylus, they created cuneiform, a script of wedge-shaped marks. Suddenly, they could record history, track trade, create literature, and codify laws. The epitaph of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature, was etched onto these tablets, a story of gods, monsters, and the human search for meaning. This wasn't just record-keeping. It was the birth of human memory, a way to speak across millennia. Their ingenuity didn't stop there. Look around you today. At every car, every cart, every spinning gear. The principle behind them began here with the Sumerian invention of the wheel. Initially used for pottery, they soon adapted it for transport, creating carts and chariots that revolutionized trade and warfare. They developed a basic mathematical system, which is why we still have 60 seconds in a minute and 360 degrees in a circle. They were astronomers, mapping the stars and creating the zodiac. They were pioneers in medicine, law, and governance. The foundations of our modern world were being laid brick by clay brick. At the center of each Sumerian city, reaching towards the heavens, stood the ziggurat. These weren't just temples. They were massive, terraced pyramids, monumental stairways for the gods to descend to earth. Religion was woven into the very fabric of Sumerian life. They believed each city was protected by its own patron deity, and the priests and priestesses who served them held immense power. They were intermediaries between the mortal and the divine, conducting elaborate ceremonies to ensure the gods' favor, bountiful harvests, and protection from disaster. The ziggurat was the economic, political, and spiritual heart of the city, a symbol of cosmic order and human devotion. For centuries, these city-states like Uruk, and Kish vied for dominance, trading and warring with one another in a constant dance of power. They built powerful armies, with soldiers wielding bronze spears and riding in heavy four-wheeled chariots. But a new chapter was about to be written, one of unification and empire. Around 2334 BC, a man of humble origins rose to power. His name was Sargon of Akkad. He wasn't Sumerian by birth, but he saw the potential in uniting the fragmented cities of Mesopotamia. Through brilliant military campaigns and political savvy, Sargon conquered the Sumerian city-states one by one. He didn't just rule them, he forged them into something new, the world's first known empire. The Akkadian Empire, under Sargon's rule, stretched from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. He created a centralized government, standardized weights and measures, and established a postal system using the old clay tablets. For the first time, a single ruler governed a vast, multi-ethnic territory, creating a model that would be copied by conquerors for thousands of years to come. Sargon's dynasty ruled for over a century, a golden age of stability and cultural fusion. Akkadian and Sumerian traditions blended, creating a rich Mesopotamian heritage. But, like all great empires, its time was finite. Internal rebellions, external invasions from peoples like the Gutians, and perhaps even drastic climate change weakened the Akkadian state. The empire fractured, and the Sumerian cities once again enjoyed a brief period of independence. A renaissance led by the city of Ur. This final flowering of Sumerian culture, known as the Third Dynasty of Ur, saw a resurgence in art, architecture, and literature. The great ziggurat of Ur, whose ruins still stand today, was built during this time. But the tides of history were turning. New powers were rising in the region. Waves of migration and invasion by the Amorites and Elamites put immense pressure on the Sumerian heartland. Around 2004 BC, the city of Ur was sacked and destroyed, marking the symbolic end of the Sumerians as a distinct political and cultural force. The Sumerian language slowly faded from daily use, replaced by but it survived for centuries as a classical language of religion and science. Much like Latin in medieval Europe, the people who came after them, the Babylonians and the Assyrians, did not erase Sumerian culture. Instead, they absorbed it. They adopted cuneiform, worshipped Sumerian gods under new names, and built upon their scientific and legal traditions. The famous Code of Hammurabi, one of history's most important legal documents, has its roots in earlier Sumerian law codes. So, did the Sumerians truly disappear? Or did they simply transform, their legacy becoming so fundamental that it's now invisible, woven into the DNA of civilization itself? Every time we check the time, write a sentence, or pass a law, we are touching a thread that leads all the way back to the clay plains of ancient Sumer. They were the first to dream of cities, the first to write down their stories, the first to build empires. They lit a spark in the dawn of history, and its light continues to illuminate our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to the very beginning. If you found this story of Sumer fascinating, please like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the past and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you next time.